It's just an ASMR podcast.
I actually have someone who has an ASMR channel. She's one of the people who we played D&D with on our stream.
Nice.
Yeah.
She just be making noises in the mic while y'all playing.
No, but I mean, it might actually add to our viewership, so maybe I should suggest.
That'd be some kinky shit. Y'all are just playing and you smacking and shit.
Claire, if you watch this, that was not my intention.
Claire, make some wet sounds into your headset next time y'all play. All right, I'm Pat X. This is another episode of PSYCHii. I'm here with my buddy Cliff. We're gonna talk about a lot of different things, but first we're gonna do this intro. Yada yada. And now I'm doing my little intro that I haven't made yet.
Oh, so you're pre-rolling some episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pre-rolling. Hi, once again, I am Pat X. This is the PSYCHii podcast. First and foremost, we're sipping some tea, as always. I am drinking, what am I drinking? Cliff gave me some tea. It was
Zaya tea, and I wish I could remember everything that was in it now. You put me on the spot, but I know there's some rose petals in it.
Okay, I'm sipping some rose. Ooh, I sound bougie. I'm sipping some rose. And then I gave tea this Cliff. I gave Cliff the echinacea and lemon tea because we're all about
cleansing. Does it cleanse? What is it?
Yeah, echinacea may boost your immune system, but tea overall helps with your circulatory system, your blood pressure levels, your immune system, your chakras, and your throat health, and all that good stuff. So
we both are tea lovers here, for sure.
So yeah, first and foremost, who the fuck is Cliff? Who's Cliff?
Oof, we're doing those kind of questions on the podcast. Okay, well, I'm making that actually harder than it is.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, what?
So let's see. Well, let's go down to the deep nitty gritty of it. Who am I?
I'm a deeply sad and existentialist.
I'm gonna sit here frozen on the couch for like the next 20 minutes, spaced out. So Cliff is actually a freelance screenwriter and a comic writer, or at least that's who I identify as currently.
Oh, he sounds cool.
Yeah,
should invite him.
Honestly, man, he's kind of a trash person. Is this an explicit podcast or is it not?
Fucking no. I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean,
yeah, say what you want.
I guess it is. But yeah, so I'm from Beaufort, South Carolina. So we're currently in Charleston, if y'all didn't know. And I'm from about 40 minutes away from here, 45 if you drive the speed limit. But I mean, come on. Yeah, grew up there, went to school.
This shit is crack. But anyways.
Appreciate it. Went to USC, the real USC, University of South Carolina with my boy Pat here, studied media arts. So shout out to them, and not a shout out to my student loans. You're not getting those back. Just want y'all to know that.
Damn.
Yeah, this isn't really like, this is kind of me. I'm giving them a little bit.
I mean, it's like, hey, I'm Cliff Johnson and I'm not paying my student loans.
IRS is probably going to look at this and be like, a word?
I don't know what I am, but I'm going to tell you what I'm not. And that's paying the fucking government for this inflated educational price.
Yo. But yeah, so I'm cooling in Charleston right now. I'm trying to make some things work. I'm definitely in that moving in silence phase of my life where I'm just trying to stack bread.
Real killer.
And get some stuff finally working, post grad. So
definitely.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up, man. I just want to say I am pretty sure I'm getting high off of this.
It feels like you're getting high off of it, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I've had some nights where I'm at the desk or in the room just like chilling, gaming, writing or whatever. And I'm like...
Facts, yo, and like I'm so glad you said that because I thought I was just tripping because like I really fuck with tea or whatever.
No,
but I because sometimes I'll put like superfoods in mine, so I just got like a thing of beet powder. And sometimes I'll sprinkle a little bit in that with the honey. And the last time I tried that, dude, like it was like the equivalent to like that little nicotine high that you get. And I was like, all right, I am here for this.
I've actually got some beets in the fridge to juice. So
ooh, there you go.
I see if I'll actually do it this time. But
yeah, so let's just kind of dive into this. Once again, I kind of like having those conversations that would be, as I say, peculiar to pull out on a first date? Or like, pull out on a first date.
Never.
Yeah, those type of questions that you wouldn't necessarily have with somebody right off bat. You know, if you're talking to somebody, it's like, oh, the weather is nice. Or, hey, what do you do for a living? I want to be like, yo, do you question if you're real sometimes? You know what I mean? But like, you can't just like off gate say some shit like that, you know? And so I want to provide an outlet for people to talk about stuff like that, because that's what everybody cares about. You know what I mean? It's just like, how do you present those type of existential questions, or the Matrix and like aliens and religion and all the wild stuff.
Like, I'm gonna need to take the glasses off to make sure they get my facial expressions, because if you ask something, I want to make sure it's seen. Help me, please.
So my first thing, and let's just kind of like ease into it, okay. And not even, because it'll probably digress into a bigger thought. AI, right? What do you think?
Great basketball.
How do you feel about AI? I'm getting to the point where it's making me uncomfortable, but to a certain extent, it's inevitable. Like, for example, I don't use Google Maps because Google Maps will tell me that it's saved where I parked. And I don't like that, even though I'm pretty sure Apple does that too. It just doesn't tell me. Or like little subtle things. Or it'll be like, if I say somebody's name a couple times and it doesn't recognize it, it'll be like, okay, please explain to me how to say it. You know, like it's actively like learning, which is cool, but makes me uncomfortable. How do you feel about AI and all that good stuff?
Do you also the trajectory, or is that going to be? I guess I'll just kind of go.
Yeah, just wherever your noggin goes.
Well, with AI, I mean, when you go to like the phones and things like that, that's useful. Siri is, and please don't turn on just because I'm saying your name, girl. But it's very useful. I know there's ways in the settings, or at least like, you know, I don't know if you're on Twitter, Twitterless Pat, but they'll always have like these threads of just like, oh, you didn't know how to turn off your GPS, or your girl can't track you, or your man can't track you, or the government can't track you. I can't say that I might have stumbled down one of those before because it was interesting to me. Sorry, babe. And there's ways to get around that, I think, because legally they have to. Mm-hmm. But there's also, to a certain extent, there is no running anymore from, you know,
it just collects so much information. Yeah. Like there's no way to escape it.
It's real freaky. I'm all for progression when it comes to technology, but then again, I also, you know, don't expect us to not shoot ourselves in the foot. Mm-hmm. Like it's coming eventually at some point.
I think AI's point to oblivion, I guess, is when we cross that bridge from assistance to companionship, because then it's like, ooh, let's give it human characteristics such as rationale and the ability to, like, I don't know, because I mean, like, if you break us down, it's just chemical reactions, then that could be possibly equated to like binary, you know what I mean, in a biological sense.
In another language.
So it's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure technology can learn based on strictly nature and information how to like feel a way. And imagine like if Siri had a personality. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm mean to Siri. Like, if I tell Siri to play something and it gets it wrong, I'm like, no, like, what the fuck, or whatever.
I'm not mean to Siri, but one time, and I think that's only whenever I asked for her to call someone. Mm-hmm. See, already calling it her instead of it or Siri. But I guess a name is even more than her. But and she'll get the name wrong, and then I freak out. Yeah. But I will say I am more mean to Alexa than I am to Siri. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's just product. What is it when you show not ownership or leadership, but dang it, what's the phrase? Basically, I am just an Apple head. Like that's who I side with. Yeah. Nothing against Android. But I'm gonna be rude to Alexa before I bring to Siri, and that's just it is what it is.
Classism is what it sounds like to me.
I mean, be better, you know.
But yeah, I had to like check myself because I'm like, yo, I am being mean to my phone, and I think it started because she hurt my feelings a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because I had just dropped a project and I told her to play it, and she was like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what that is." Essentially, she was like, I don't know who you are, nigga. Like,
well, what did you do to piss her off then? Because that was premeditated, is what it sounds like.
And I was hurt, and apparently I just didn't pronounce it right or whatever. But I felt the way. I was like, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
You've been working on this.
Bitch, you know I dropped the date or whatever. But yeah, I had to check myself. I'm like, yo, like, stop being mean to your phone.
Yeah.
You not about to play whatever. You know?
Well, I'm gonna cut you some slack there, because the thing you were saying about humans and how we are what we are, just chemical reactions and stuff. But like, we also, you know, we're literally, if we're nothing but the relationships we really make. You know, so whatever personality, whatever you see yourself as,
right,
I feel like is still a product of the relationships, whether it be to non-living things or living things. So where you from, where you grew up, the people you grew up with, where you from, and how that relates to how you talk and how the world views you. And then you view yourself and just stuff like that. So I'm gonna cut you some slack with that.
For
you
sure.
Talk to
now
Siri.
I'll talk to her how I like talk to like Alan or Liam, which still like isn't nice, but it's not like I'm not cussing her out. So I'll be like, Siri, play Dawson Lee. It's like playing Dawson, like I can't find Dawson's Creek on whatever. And I'm like, no, nigga, like Dawson Lee or something like that. Versus like, what the fuck? Yada yada yada. But yeah, but I mean, sometimes she be like fucking up. Yep. I'll be like, play Drake, play whatever by Drake, calling Taisha's mom.
I also don't know if Siri's got the Ebonics down.
This is true.
So
this is true.
I'm not really cutting Siri slack. You need to tell your creators to get on their game. Whoever's running Apple right now, I forget. Is it Tim Cook now? I think it is. So yeah, you got to get on that, buddy.
But it might be a double-edged sword, because it's like, you'd be pretty freaked out if Siri got super accurate. You know what I mean?
What's up, my nigga?
Like if I was talking to you and I said hypothetically play whatever, and bitch is in the other room and plays it, that would freak you out. But at the same time, you get mad whenever you talk to her and she doesn't get it right.
It is a double-edged sword. You got to pick. Do you want it to work right, or do you want it to work only sometimes?
Exactly. So I don't know. So I guess I can't complain. Do you think we would... And not to dive into this AI rabbit hole, but do you think we would act differently towards it, knowing that it had like a personality or like the capacity to feel a way based on how you talk to it?
Definitely. And I will say, I don't really dig too deep into AI and the study of it. Just like, you know, what I come across on the internet, then I'll search for a little bit, and then I feel like I'm updated with what it would. It's way deeper than any of that, but I will say it's going to go that way eventually if it hasn't already, and we just haven't gotten it here in the West yet.
Right. Or on a consumer level, for sure.
Right. Like the film Her was, while as fantastical as it was, it's not necessarily far-fetched. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who actually had a really deep emotional connection with the events of that feeling, whether they feel lonely, depressed, or anything, and need someone or something that they're attached to that can't necessarily run away or go away, which kind of sounds really wrong. Now that I think about that, we're not promoting dungeons of any sort. Let Siri live her life how she wants to, please. Right. Joaquin Phoenix,
don't let them leave.
Go away.
Me and the other AIs are leaving. Can I come? She's like, I don't know, but if you ever get there, come find me. That is an emotional movie.
Yeah,
it's such a good movie. It's
such a 10 out of 10. I mean, Scarlett Johansson not being a tree for once was actually very, very. I'll never forget that. That was OD, her whole situation. So with wanting to act different roles across it, I get it. I get what the point she's coming from, but it's still a very sticky subject. But she played it. She played the hell out of a computer, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, she just has such a nice voice. Such a nice voice. And I wonder if things will get. So let's say AI didn't have like the ability to like feel. I think as soon as we create like an Alexa that looks like something, we'll attach that inevitably. So like imagine if Alexa was like a cute little robot that looked like Beemo or like Wally or something like that.
Okay.
And that's when we're going to start to narrow into that companionship window. And then we're going to want it to be more like a companion. And we're literally begging for our own like
relationships. So we don't want to feel weird. Like we don't want to feel weird in situations. We're going to put it into something that we us at least, the people who, you know, the manufacturers who build for consumers is going to do that because it's going to make them more money.
All right. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. I gotta say the scary thing for me really when it comes to AI is knowing when to turn it off when they can build themselves better. That's where you really gotta pump the brakes. Because I remember reading an article or watching a video about people making AI and making it smarter and supercomputers, that whole jargon. And they said that, they saw that the AI was updating itself. And then they're like, all right, so that's the one you got to pull the plug on. It can only get so far before it's over. So.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy to think about.
That's scary.
Me and this is so like, this is one of those like hits blunt conversations. He might have been high. I was sober or whatever frame of mind I'm perpetually at.
It's the tea, man. It's
but
the
we
tea.
were like, yo, what if like, of course, like humans take on like, there's a word for it, but like we create like a different form of like evolution that's not natural. What if like we make these AI beings and then obviously they'll like surpass us and kind of like the evolutionary chain, and then that's what, and like the God view is like just that in like the cyclical form. So like these like little whatever organisms, like what are single-celled organisms or whatever.
I love that.
And then they created whatever the little platypus looking things. And then they created shit that walks. They created Neanderthals. They created humans.
I've never
then
thought of that.
we created robots. And then whatever robots started a whole nother process and a whole nother like alternate universe to where they're like in our position. And it just continues to like repeat itself. So what we think is God is just like the last time we made like the OD version of whatever. Yeah, we were like sitting on the we were sitting on the porch, like, well, we were sitting on my car, like looking at the stars, like talking about this shit, and we were like, bro, I think we're on to something.
Oh my gosh.
I think we figured.
The religious person in me is still interested in that conversation,
right?
Regardless, I don't care who it was who was having that conversation with Pat. I now own that idea and will be writing that, or at least taking some influence of that in the future. So I appreciate you.
Ooh, I have it written down somewhere, probably in like film ideas. Or like
that's gas.
But yeah, I just thought that was so crazy because I mean, it just makes sense. Not saying that's like my worldview now, but I'm in a very like wide not mentality, like. Could be, could not be. Who knows, man? Like
existential dread is starting to set in. Real nice. Real nice. Because that just sounds cool. Even if it's not like, okay, I'm not saying I necessarily believe it, but it sounds cool as hell.
Right.
And I
dope.
want it. I want it now.
It seems logical to me. It's a logical thing. Okay, so kind of bridging. I probably could have made like a cleaner transition into this, but I'm just kind of spitballing at this point. You're a very cool and collected individual, or at least you seem that way, or you put on this great this mirage, this semblance of cool and collected.
Yeah.
That being said, I need you to tell me about a time where you were not cool and collected. Maybe a instance where you embarrassed yourself, or maybe crazy like college Cliff, if there was ever that archetype. Just tell me a story that's
crazy,
not you sitting here with your plants drinking tea. you know.
Well, I see about the tea thing. I always had that vision for myself since I was an infant. So that was always going to happen. It was really just going to be the in between on how do I get there?
Nice.
You feel me?
No Similac. It was just tea.
No, it was just straight up. Mom knew what she was doing. I had, she couldn't give me the honey for like the first couple of months because, safety reasons. But after
tea
that,
bags,
I tell you
fresh
what,
out the womb.
B movie was my favorite movie coming up. That's not true, but how do you? So the question was when there was a time in which a crazy or embarrassing moment happened.
Yeah, just tell me a story where this persona didn't pan out. I don't want to say persona because that seems fictitious or like you're putting on a facade, which you're not. But like, give me a time where you weren't cool and collected, or.
I don't hate to toot my own horn here, buddy, but no, I am. There's definitely times. It's really just. I try not to set myself up for things.
There you go.
That might be where the cool and calm collected, because on the inside is screaming, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. And so
don't put yourself in positions to mess up.
I'm not in that position. But I mean, nervousness and stuff. I mean, everybody gets that. And I kind of, I try to feed off of, if there's ever a chance a moment that my back is against the wall, that I got to make a time crunch, that I do something that's just put me on the spot, I kind of try and feed into that. And the thing I always tell myself, really, and now I'm getting motivational about it, but it's like, if it means something, if you're nervous about it. And I was in Charleston. I was a part of the Wide Angle program, which was a program for Black and minority filmmakers, majority Black, and South Carolina. In any capacity. And it was kind of an interesting thing that we started off where we had an idea that it was going to be this one thing, and it wasn't, and it turned into something else, but it was still beneficial. We had a Effie Brown, a Hollywood producer. Actually, she taught the course for like 9 months. It was sponsored by the South Carolina Film Commission. Hey guys. And we learned a lot from her about just like the process and the business, and she definitely made it worthwhile. But we actually got to the point where we could pitch in front of these producers that she knew that flew here, just to kind of like get us that experience and stuff. And I fumbled that pitch so poorly. I don't care who you are. Oh, Cliff, you didn't do that bad. Cliff, you didn't. No, I fumbled it because I had been working on that project and we reworking it since freshman year of college. That was the first year that I was removed from college. So that'd been like late 2018, early 2019, maybe. Right. And I fumbled that bag so hard. I don't know if they were ever. This is the thing. We never knew if it was going to be any funds that we were going to get or any winner. Yeah. That's the whole thing, where it wasn't really as. They didn't give us as much information as we needed when we signed up for the program. We were kind of like the test dummies for the first initiation. But it was valuable experience, and what I needed to work on as far as like pitching goes, which I still need to work on as pitching goes as a writer. Really, especially my voice. Like, I got so nervous that and I was like, I'm cool, calm, and collected. I was surprised. I was like, what is this thing that's going here? But there were like 35, 40 people in the room because the people's, family, and they came to watch too. And I was like, well, normally when we pitch, we always talked about elevator pitches, in phase classes back at USC where we went. And that was, it was just like maybe 5 students and the professor and an actual elevator, because we took it literally. Yeah. And we did a pitch. But this was like a full on pitch for people to put a bag of money in your face, like practicing at least. Yeah. So yeah, that was a bag fumbled.
For sure. I think my most recent fumble was music crawl. So this year, Columbia's music crawl is virtual, and so they pre-recorded the performances. And so we're at New Brooklyn Tavern. There's a guy with a camera in my face. It's me, him, and like 2 of the bartenders. Okay. And I'm supposed to like scream and like go crazy for like 20 minutes or whatever. And my set list was softcore and hardcore. So I'm doing Platypus. And then immediately after that, it's like one of like the slow jams, thinking I can sing, right? I walked out knowing I butchered it. But whenever that shit went live on Facebook and I was just watching it along with other people, not hitting those notes, not hitting those screams, and like, yeah, I was like, man. So I had to go and I was like, hey, first time back since COVID. Thanks for bearing with me, everyone, with a heart emoji. It was cringe, dude. I haven't been cringe about myself in a while. And there's just nothing.
Keeping yourself humble though, you know?
Right. There's nothing you can do. So, I mean, but at the same time, it's like.
No one's safe from the cringe.
Right. You can't put yourself out there constantly and it always be a dub. You know what I mean? If you're never embarrassed and you never flop, that means you're not putting yourself in positions that you're, you know what I mean, uncomfortable with, or
absolutely.
You're not really growing, I feel like, if you're never uncomfortable or whatever.
And if you've smoothed your way to the top, you will be in for a rude awakening one day.
Right. That shit was so awkward, especially the singing part. Because I was like, who the fuck did I think of? Who did I think of? If it took me 50 takes to do it in a studio, what made me think I was about to be able to do it live?
I mean, there was a crowd there. You're in the moment. There was a crowd.
No one crowd.
There was a crowd there.
It was just one person.
There was some living organisms, someone with a heartbeat in the general vicinity.
It was so bad.
And I'm proud of you. Okay, you did that. You tried it.
Yeah, there you go.
We can erase it.
I didn't do that. I tried it, and it's over with.
We can erase it from our memories.
But yeah, I think it's important to put yourself out there, and I'm just an awkward person, and you're somewhat awkward, but in a social way.
It's a part of my
thing. And I
think
that we almost have the cheat code because we're not afraid of awkward interaction. In fact, we're comfortable in it.
I love it.
I love when something awkward happens, so I can capitalize on it.
I'm always looking for that little avenue to go in there and
exactly.
be like, we're looking for weird people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Even this is I don't feel pressured to go by the script of questions and make it very cookie cutter. We're about to fumble this whole conversation because that's what having a conversation is, just vomiting out.
He knew what he was gonna have when he asked me to be on this. He knew what he was getting. So
facts. I knew I was gonna get plants and aesthetic. That's really why. I mean, talking to Cliff is cool, but I was like, man, I know this place is gonna be mad aesthetic. That's
I'm still trying to build it, bro. This is everything I got from when I first moved here. I still want to get more stuff to put in here, so
for sure. Where are we at on? Let's throw. It's kind of tough. I wanna pose another quick question.
Okay. I don't know if I like where this is going.
Yeah, because we're at this kind of we're at 2 minutes, but
if we gotta go over a little bit, Mike.
Yeah, we might have to. It's fine. We can because I want to hear your opinion on this.
Okay.
So I don't like the term conservative, liberal. I would like to say we're both open-minded people, right? I don't care if guys kiss guys. Do you care if guys kiss guys? I don't care if girls fuck other girls.
Honestly, I ship a lot of non-heterosexual relationships, especially in television and stuff. So yeah.
You don't care if a chick wants to be a guy?
No, do you?
No, I don't. So
absolutely
we don't care about these things.
No, absolutely not.
So we would be considered liberal,
open-minded, and this, that, and the third, allies.
But as society moves forward, depending on how society moves forward, will we maintain that liberalness? For example, would you feel a way if AI and human had relations?
That's a good question. I don't know it was going to come back to the AI thing.
Species. We've publicly accepted bestiality is not really okay. But if there's extraterrestrial type things that are human-like, is that okay?
If my D&D group ever listens to this, which I will make them listen to this, they're gonna be like, "This is the wrong person to ask." Because I play a shape-shifting druid that can turn into any beast he wants to.
Kinky.
Yeah, well, it's fantasy, right? But to answer the question, I guess, no. I mean, at the end of the day, like if I was projecting in there, I'm gonna mind my business. That's like I was having that conversation. It's a golden answer.
Minding my business.
As long as it's not detrimental to the entire human race being extinct, which I mean it wouldn't be, because those conservatives would be humans only. Right. So I'd be like, all right, well y'all keep it going then. Well, I go have fun with Alexa version 58 over here.
With the fatty.
Fatty is Smalley, whatever you want. She can be that, okay?
But that like always made me wonder, because like how outrageous would where we're at now seem to somebody in like the 1500s, or like even like during like the witch trials. Like there's chicks out here now that are like, yeah, I'm a witch.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like,
buy a spell book from Barnes and Noble the
right,
other day.
And like that's cool.
Yeah. And I was like, do you? I was like, this is interesting. Tell me how it goes.
Right, or just like anything really, or like
super open minded.
Right, even the idea of having like a knee replacement for somebody that's like maybe older in time. It's like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I want to get to the point where I can have a bionic leg. That's going to be a benefit of technology going forward. So, but I don't feel like I still didn't really answer the question. But if it gets to that point where you have relations with non-humanoids, you've got to just, you separate it. That's the thing. It's gonna be hard to separate the fact that this is not just human. You gotta draw a line. All right, you gotta know this ain't what you think it is. Do it, but this ain't what you think it is.
I feel like it might be like just like anything else. You have like the early adopters, so it's like there might be like this one couple in Texas, and it's like, oh, this is like weird. And then there's like 50 other couples that pop up around the world, and then there's like a whole like community of people that do it, and then it's like, all right, well, we need to figure something out. Versus like, I don't know, even like back, I mean, homosexuality and stuff's been around since forever, but just as an example, let's imagine there's like 100 straight people and one person's gay. It's like, ooh, no. Yeah. Then there's 10. It's like, what the fuck is happening? Then it's like half and half, and it's like, okay, this is like a thing now. Yeah, so that might be the similar way for...
You said society move forward. I mean, that's really all there is to it. It's going to happen at some point. Got a lot of Trumpers actually in this neighborhood I live in. Hey. So a lot of conservatives in this neighborhood. So this place will probably flames just right.
You lost.
This apartment bursts into flames after this this podcast goes live.
We all still lost, but we didn't get skunked.
Yeah.
Actually, we lost.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
We still lost, but
we all taking L's, but yours just a little bit fatter. All
Facts. All right. Well, everything from relations to AI to the joke that is our political system to not paying student loans.
In this essay, I will.
Cap. I'm Pat X. This is Cliff.
Yeah, boy.
Did you want to say that? Did you moved your mouth to the mic like you wanted to say you were Cliff?
I mean,
let's start
the
over.
Cat's out of the bag now. Or the dog. I'm Cliff.
And this was PSYCHii and will continue to be PSYCHii whenever this stops. But I mean, it's just
drink tea.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.